Hello and welcome back to Children's Reading Cove. Let's dive into part 2 of The Merchant of Venice. As the sun set over Venice, Bassanio strolled around a public square discussing business with Shylock, the moneylender, who was a thin man with a long grizzled beard. Shylock had a sharp mind, but often pretended to be slow-witted to mislead his clients. He frowned at Bassanio and said, "Let me be clear about this. You want to borrow 3,000 ducats?" "I do," said Bassanio. "And your friend the merchant, Antonio, will sign a bond guaranteeing that he will pay back the money within 3 months?" Bassanio nodded. "He will," he said. "Look, here comes Antonio now. He'll tell you himself." Shylock narrowed his eyes. He and Antonio detested each other, though both men made a show of being polite. "Well, Shylock," said Antonio, "will you lend Bassanio the money?" "I am considering it," Shylock replied. "It surprises me that you're willing to sign a bond. Didn't I hear you boast that you would never charge interest on your loan or pay interest on any money that you borrowed?" "Normally I wouldn't," agreed Antonio. "But this money is for my friend, so I'm making an exception. Will you give him the money or not?" Shylock spoke quietly, but sparks of rage glowed in his eyes. "Antonio, you have often criticized the way I do business, but I have never complained," he said. "The other day you spat on my clothes, called me a dog, and kicked me. Today you're asking for my help. Remember that I'm just as human as you. If you cut me, I bleed. If you poison me, I die. And if you insult me, I will have my revenge." "We don't like each other, Shylock," Antonio said frankly. "If I don't return your loan in time, imagine the pleasure it will give you to make me pay the penalty." Shylock laughed, as if he had thought of a joke. "Speaking of penalty, I think it would be amusing if the lawyer who draws up the bond writes that if you do not pay me by such and such a date, you will let me cut off a pound of your flesh from the place nearest your heart. Agree to that, and your friend shall have his money," he said. Bassanio clutched Antonio's arm. "No, Antonio," he gasped. "Let's find another moneylender." Antonio sensed that Shylock was testing him. If he refused Shylock's terms, the moneylender would spread the word that Antonio was a coward. "Just as you wish, Shylock," Antonio said. "No," said Bassanio. "What if something happens to your ships?" "Don't worry," Antonio said. They are due back in Venice a month before the repayment date. Neither Antonio nor Bassanio noticed Shylock's gloating smile. Sailors make mistakes and ships sink, Antonio, Shylock thought. Once that bond is signed, you will be at my mercy. End of part 2. Join us again for part 3. See you soon. Bye-bye.